Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today we're going to be ranking all the palettes that I used in the month of February of 2025. So if you're interested, I did use a palette per day because I'm doing my project palette 365 where I use a different palette every day for 365 days. So every month I will be doing at the end of the month, such as this, I will be doing a roundup of all the palettes that I use. So it'll usually be, if there's 30 days, I'll have 30 palettes. Or in this case, there was 28 days, so I have 28 palettes. So I have 28 palettes to show you and talk to you about. So if you're interested to see how I rank them from the one I like the least to the one I like the best, then stay tuned because we're getting right into it. Okay, I know this is going to be a long video because these videos always tend to be long videos because I get talking about, I start getting ranting and talking about the palettes and I just can't stop talking. So I'm already talking about it. So let's go ahead and get started with number 28 from Makeup Revolution. This is the Rookies of the Year, Mike Wazowski and James P. Sullivan. This one, if you know me, you know I like a palette with a lot of dimension in it. This has light shades in it, but it doesn't really have any dark shades in it. I did have to pull in, I keep this one on standby, this Natasha Denona Mini Eye Sculpt palette on standby for when I need, and I use this palette a lot this month, when I need lighter shades or when I need darker shades, and I'm sure I use these darker shades in it to help me make this look. And I don't really care for the shimmers too much in this one either, but it's a really cute palette. I will be keeping this one because it was a gift from somebody, and I do really like Monsters University a lot, so I'll be keeping this one as a gift, but it was my least favorite palette from the month. And at number 27, we have the Jeffree Star Pink Religion palette. This used to be one of my favorite palettes from this brand, but I'm just really not into the, just ultraviolet pinks anymore, I would say. And I really don't like his shimmer formula that much. Now I will say I did try a palette from him this month where I was more impressed with the shimmers, but we'll get into that one next month. But this one only has like 3 shimmers in it, and I don't really like the formula of it. But I used this one, I tried to make a toned down pink look with this one, but I'm just not really, I'll be keeping this one just because I'm keeping my Jeffree Star palettes, but just not my favorite palette from this brand anymore. Okay, and at next we have got the Violet Voss I Love You So Much. You're gonna see a pattern because February was Valentine's Day month, so you're gonna see me, I bring out all my pink and red palettes for this month. So we have this cherry palette. I kind of wish there was more light shades, light pink shades in this one. Light cherry, like the shade kind of, for instance, was in there. Otherwise it was a nice palette. Violet Voss is kind of hard to blend sometimes. Kind of not the best formula, I would say. Not the best formula. The shimmers are okay. The shimmers are just okay. I have a lot of Violet Voss. This month, but this was not my favorite Violet Voss palette. So there it goes. Okay, next we have the next makeup. We have a lot of Revolution. We have a lot of Monsters University Revolution in here too. This is the Art Scare card. This one I liked a lot better. This one I did like a lot better. It has a darker shade. This one didn't have any light shades in it. I think I had to pull in my Natasha Denona Sculpt card for some lighter shades. It has the mid-tones and darker shades. And I don't think I used any of the shimmer shades from this, but yeah, I'm still gonna keep this around because I do like the theming of it. I really like this. But I have another Monsters University palette that is ranked a lot higher than these two Scare cards. But these were just okay, formula-wise, just okay. Next I have from Ace Beauty the Violet Sage palette. Let me know if you have any of these palettes down below and what you think of them. I'm just not vibing with the color story on this one. I thought it would be pretty cool to get this one, but I'm not really into the shimmers that much. These are just your basic kind of shimmery shimmers. I kind of like not lighter shades, but more topper-esque kind of shimmers nowadays, or duochromes, or multi-chromes, or glitter toppers kind of things. Otherwise, it was okay palette. I think Ace Beauty is like reformulating, alright, or redoing all their stuff. I don't know. This color story is just okay. I think I used all this up top here, and it was okay. It made an okay look. It was good, not great. That's what I'm saying. It was good, not great. And next I have another Violet Voss palette. This is the Sakura Blossom palette. This one kind of reminds me of the Jeffree Star palette, actually. And with this, just really bright pinks. But I think when I use this palette, I use the more neutral colors in it. I think that's what I did. I think I shied away from these really bright pinks. But see, I do like a pink. I do like that kind of shade pink. But yeah, I kind of used a lot of mid palettes this month. And then I have the NYX Ultimate Vintage Teen Baby, which usually this palette scores pretty high up in my list whenever I use it. But this time when I used it, it was really muddy. Really muddy. I used some of the neutral shades this time, and not so much the pinks or the blues. And it turned out really muddy and ugly. So I'm not really basing this on all the times I've used it, just this time I've used it. That's why it has ranked so low. But this white is very pigmented, very nice pigmented white to go into the inner corner highlight. I really like this. Otherwise, if I had just used the pinks and the blues, it would have made a really nice look. But I was just feeling kind of neutral that day, and I was just using the neutrals. No, it really wasn't working out for me that well. So it was just kind of a muddy mess. And then next, I usually love using this palette, but I don't know. I pulled out, I guess maybe I just wasn't feeling, I guess I just wasn't in a pink mood this month. I pulled out this palette and I don't know. What was I not feeling? I was not feeling the shimmers in this one. Wasn't particularly feeling the shimmers in this one. You'll see as I get further on up into my higher rankings what I'm liking. Like I said in my last one, I like the more ethereal, more glittery, more topper-esque copper-esque, is that a word? More topper shades, more multi-chrome, more duochrome type shades, less of the traditional shimmers and satins. So this one, although I will be keeping it because I really like the Mega palette, it was just middle of the road. Let me go get some more palettes. Okay, and then next I have the Pat McGrath Eternal Eden palette, which is a very nice palette. Very nice. This one does make a beautiful look. We're getting more into palettes that I really was enjoying. This one is just a quad, although I do think I'm going to pass this one along because I do have other palettes that I like better. Did I say this was Pat McGrath? Pat McGrath Eternal Eden? Eternal... I think that was the name of it. But it has 2 mattes and 2 shimmers. It makes a very pretty look. But... I mean, it's like I said with other palettes, it's okay. It's good but not great. Good but not great. So we got that. And then I have the Unearthly Sleepover palette, which is very nice. It is very nice. I do like, and I'm not really feeling this shade right here, but I do like this little duochrome that we have here, and this little shade that we have here. And I do like that it has dark, it has a lighter colors. I do like this pink here. I do like this color here. We can make a nice look here, and it's great for that time of year to pull out. And so we have this palette right here. Then we got a couple more Pat McGrath shades. This one is the Passion Fleur palette, which I did. It does have a shattered, it does have a shade missing, and I did have to pull in my Natasha Denona palette with it, but it did make a very, very pretty look. I will be keeping this one because I do like the look that this one made. This one is one dark shade, so I need the lighter shades from the Natasha Denona, and then these shimmers are really nice light shimmers, the kind of light shimmers that I like. They're like there. And then the Natasha Denona Daring Desire is another one which I like a little better. It just has one matte shade, so I use my Natasha Denona Mini Sculpt palette, and then we have 3 really nice, and you can make different looks with this one depending upon which shimmer you want to use. So these are the really nice kind of shimmers that I like. Then we have a Gourmand Girls palette. This is actually, I have decluttered a lot of my Gourmand Girls palettes, but this is one palette that I actually like. And this is the C'est l'Amour palette. This one, I think I actually used this one on Valentine's Day, I want to say. But I really love the reds and the blacks together. And this shade right here is one of those iridescent multi-chrome shades that I really like to put on my eyelid that we've got there. It has pinks, I don't know, as far as color stories, this one I think they really did a great job with. This is the one palette from them I think I am actually going to be keeping from them. Usually I don't really get their color stories. They don't make a lot of sense to me, and their formula is not that great, but that one is really good. Okay, and the next one we have the Rosy Jingle palette, which was a Christmas release from Odin's Eye, but if you look at it, I think it is definitely, I'll have another Odin's Eye further on up in the list, but this one just screams Valentine's Day more to me. And I wish there were some darker shades. We do have these two shades, but this shadow right here, this shade right here, was a really nice topper shade that I used. That was really nice. Really love this palette. So we're getting into palettes that I'm really starting to enjoy here. The next one we have is the Feral palette. This is my favorite artistry work on a palette. So we have there. Love this. This is the Feral palette by Menagerie Cosmetics, and I'm not loving the shimmers in this one, but I do love the browns, the yellows, and the greens, like these shades right here. Not really, or let's say here, these other shades, they can go away. They can go away, but I love making a look with this right here. Really beautiful look that I made with this Feral palette. And I gotta say, I've had this Feral palette for a really long time, and it is still very pigmented. I think this brand has gone through some reformulations since I bought this palette. I think this palette itself has gone through some changes itself since I bought it, but this palette still rocks it. It's pretty good. Okay, next I have the Murillo twins. This is the Brittany Murillo palette from Beauty Creations. I like to use this for the neutral shades, mostly the neutral shades, and I like this shimmer right here. I've made purple looks with it before, but the look I mainly like to make is with this. I do not like this silver right here, or maybe I like this shade right here too. I've made purple looks with it, I've made blue looks with it, and it's fine, but these are like nice little pinky browns, like pink, you know what I'm saying, pinkish browns. Make a really nice base for, like, if I wanted to use like my single shadows and stuff like that. If I just wanted to use these three colors and then put a single shadow on top of that, it's really nice for doing that with. So that's why I like to use this palette. That's why I like to keep this palette around. Okay, I have probably my favorite Violet Voss palette that I use this month is the Berries and Cream Dreams palette. This one is very nice. I like this kind of, this is very nice. This is a very nice color story to me, and that's very nice shimmers. I do like the lightest shimmer in here. We have right there, nice and reflective, nice and beautiful. So this made a very nice dark look, and I think it's just because the berry color. I like the berry color more than like the bright pink. More than the bright pink / strawberry-esque cherry colors. But I do like a good rose color, which is the next one, which is the Color Pop by the Rosé, which I just used the other day. Very nice, very beautiful. Let me get that closer to you. Very nice, very beautiful color story. Love this. Great, just color pop quality. Great color pop quality. You can't go wrong with color pop quality. 9-pan palette. This is good for an everyday look, and you can add smokiness to it. It has a good light shade, a good mid-tone shade, good dark shade, good shimmers, good dark shimmer, good light shimmer, and good inner corner highlight. it's just a good overall palette. And just great overall palette. The next one I have got is the Nomad. This is the Fire and Ice Iceland palette. What I did with this one is I finally used the warm tones in this palette, and I made a really cool, awesome look with using just these shades, and I might have used this shade too, I don't remember, but it turned out really cool, and I really liked it. So I just wish, what did I say? I just wish that there were some topper shades in this one, and there is another Nomad palette. There is another Nomad palette that I want to take back some words that I said about it in the past, but it is ranked higher. Okay, and then next we have from Wicked Widow Beauty the Lovesick palette, which looks like this, which is absolutely beautiful. We have this color right here, which is absolutely stunning, and this shade here on your eyes, and we can't forget this shade here. All of these are my jam. These are absolutely my jam. So we've got that, and like I said, the more of the berry shades. Love this palette. Absolutely in love with this palette. Let me get some more palettes and let me wipe off my hands. Okay, next we have the Delicious Delights palette from Cosmic Beauty, or Cosmic Brushes, or it used to be Cosmic Brushes. I think they're now Cosmic Beauty. I made a really cool, let's say, Instagram look with this. This would be ranked much higher up if the color story was a little different. I have ranked up there more neutral palettes a lot higher up in my rankings because they're more wearable. This one I made a most beautiful look with it, but it just wasn't like an everyday wearable look, I will say. But it was very beautiful, very stunning look. And this formula of Cosmic Beauty, from Cosmic Beauty, has got to be like one of the best out there. Absolutely. Best formula, best blendable, best pigmented one out there. Best shimmers. They got the best best, like, these topper shades, if that's what you're looking for, topper shades. But they also have, I mean, their color stories. I mean, look at this. Look how shimmery that is. Look at it. But it is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful palette. And I'm not really into color stories like this, but the look I made was just absolutely stunning, if I do say so myself. And then the next palette is from Makeup Revolution. It is this what I said earlier, another Monsters University one. This is like the sororities and fraternities palette, and it is just a really fun. I give this palette an A+ for just being a really fun palette. This is not the best quality formula, I would say. I mean, it is Makeup Revolution. It's not I mean, I would give it a B for formula, but I give this one an A+, and I rate it so high because it's just so much fun. It's just so much fun to use, and you can make so many different looks with this one. I give it definitely a C or a D for the size of it. But I mean, could they have made 6 different palettes? Yes, but they made one palette, and I think that was just fun fun, absolutely fun idea. And I just really like this palette. I just really like it. It's just a lot of fun. Okay, I think we're at number 6 now. So, and at number 6, we have the NARS, the R's Afterglow Tinting palette. And if I could just, I give this an F for packaging. Okay, because it's hard to open if you have nails. This one is beautiful, makes a beautiful look. It does only have 3 mattes, but the different textured shimmers in it are everything. Make this palette everything. There we go. There's one. Because you've got satins, you've got regular shimmers, you've got topper shades, you've got glitter toppers, you've got everything in this palette. And it is just, and it makes the most beautiful neutral pink kind of look. A beautiful everyday kind of palette. Okay, for something a little bit, this is definitely for Valentine's Day. This is the Nomad Love and Death, Verona Love and Death palette. When I first got this palette a couple of years ago, I did not like this palette, and I just want to say that I take it all back. This palette is actually a very, very beautiful palette, and I criticized it for having hard pressed. They are hard pressed shimmers, but at the same time, I do like them a lot. I do like them a lot because they are of the quality of shimmers that I am looking for now. And I also didn't like it at the time because it was reds and blues, and I didn't like reds and blues together, but I really do. I really have come a long way, and I really can make reds and blues work together nowadays to make a very pretty look. So I do rate this one a lot higher than I used to, and I really appreciate this palette more than I used to. So hats off to Nomad. I don't think they make that one anymore, but I'm glad, or I'm not sure if they do or not, but I am glad that I got that palette and I didn't end up decluttering it. Okay, in at number 4, we have got the Betty Boop palette by Glamlight. Again, a great palette for this time of year. I love reds and blacks together. We're gonna see this in a couple of more palettes. And again, they have lots of different textured shimmers in this one. And that's really what I appreciate. And I like that it's not all reds. We have purpley reds, we have pinky reds. So it runs the gamut of reds, so it's not just your typical red, although you do have your red in there. Let's see this shade here. So it's just beautiful. It makes a beautiful red and black look. This is probably one of Glamlight's best palettes that they have out there. Absolutely, 100%. Stand by that statement. Of course, my favorite is the Garfield palette, but that's just preference. Also, from Cosmic Beauty, we have the Sinister palette, another red and black palette. Again, this one is ranked higher because of the color story. Again, I think that they have one of the best formulas out there. Great formula, great blending, great pigment, great color stories, great pricing. Pricing is great. Great. Everything is great. Hey, I'm doing great on time too. Okay, so anyway, love this color story, love the look I made with it. what can I say? It's great. Okay, then in at number 2, I have the Silvery Bliss palette. Again, this was an Odin's Eye palette for Christmas time. And again, we have the dark reds and the dark color. Oh, I have to touch this color. Oh, it's so buttery soft. Oh, look at that color. Look at that color. And then, I don't know why I'm swatching a black, but I decided to put those two together. Put those two together. And then we have this shade here. I just love all these. See, these are the shimmers. These are the shimmers that I'm looking for. I think I went over this in last month. These ethereal looking shimmers. But I like the look I made with this one a little bit better than the one with the Sinister palette. But this was a Christmas palette, but I pulled it out. I decided to wait and not use it at Christmas time, and then decided to use it for February instead. So now that probably leaves you wondering, well, gosh, what could be number 1? What could be number 1? Well, I had some time off this month, and I decided to take my Natasha Denona. This is not an official palette. This is not a palette you can go out and buy necessarily. I mean, you can, but you would have to go out and buy a bunch of palettes to put this palette together. I have a video out on my channel making this palette. This is a build your own palette. And I named it. I named my palette. I named it Twilight Muse. And this was taking a bunch of palettes from Natasha Denona, all of her cool tone palettes. And I made my own palette. And this is the outside of it. And I put a little sticker on that said Twilight Muse. And this is the palette that I came up with. I used like the Retro palette, the I Need a Nude palette, the Roxa palette, the My Dream palette. I don't know. The video is out there on my channel, but those are some of the palettes that I used to make this palette. And so this is the palette I came up with. And of course, if I'm using my favorite palettes, and I use the favorite shades from my favorite palettes, of course, this is going to end up being my favorite palette. And I made my most favorite look with my most favorite shades from my most favorite palette. So this is the palette that I came up with. And I did a warm toned one too, which I will get around to someday using. But those are some of the shimmers from this palette. So that's it. Those are all the palettes that I used in February. Thank you so much for watching and spending some time with me. Let me know what you think of these palettes. Let me know, have you built any palettes from your palettes recently? Have you named any palettes, built any palettes, named any of your palettes? Do you have any of these palettes? What do you think of these palettes? Have you wanted to try any of these palettes? Anything like that? Just anything, any thoughts that you might have, any thoughts or opinions? Let me know. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know anything down in the comments down below. I would love to know what you're thinking. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please share it with your friends if you think they would enjoy it as well. Other than that, I hope you have a very wonderful rest of your day, and sending you all those good vibes, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, goodbye.